My fiancée publicly posted herself with another man and tagged me to see it, so I canceled our entire wedding and recovered most deposits. Months later, she showed up outside my home causing a scene. I'm 28 male, and I run tower cranes in Manhattan. Union gig, $38 an hour plus overtime. You know, actual work where you show up at 6 a.m. and build real stuff. Been slinging steel for 6 years now, mostly high-rises in Midtown and Financial District. 2 years back, I met Valencia, 26, female, at my boy's housewarming in Queens. She was this bubbly social media manager chick who could turn ordering a damn latte into viral content. We clicked right away. She was funny, hot, and had this energy that made everyone feel like they were in some movie or whatever. The guys at work ribbed me about dating someone whose job was playing on the internet all day, but I shut that down quick. My crew chief, Rico, actually met her once and said, "Kids got more hustle than half the guys I supervise." Coming from Rico, that was basically a marriage endorsement. Should have been red flag number 1 right there, but I was hooked. Maybe a simp too. Whatever, it's in the past. We moved in together after 8 months to this decent spot in Astoria, got engaged 6 months ago and started planning this October wedding like we were coordinating D-Day. $23,000 down the drain, venue booked upstate. Photographer locked down the whole 9 yards. The photographer alone was $2,800 because Valencia needed someone who understood her aesthetic. I even let her talk me into those stupid sparkler send-off things because it'll look sick on Instagram. My older sister, Sienna, 31, female, actually warned me, saying I was rushing into marriage. "Axel, you barely know this girl. She treats real life like it's one big photo shoot." But what the hell did Sienna know? She'd been married 7 years to some firefighter in Brooklyn and actually seemed happy. Clearly, she was missing something. Zach, my best buddy, was more chill about it. "Bro, she makes you laugh and she's hot as hell. What else you need?" Zach worked construction like me, ran excavators for the same union. His relationship philosophy was pretty simple. Don't overthink it. Yeah, I guess we were both simps. Valencia worked for different fitness influencers, managing their Instagrams, setting up brand deals, basically turning gym selfies into mortgage payments. Her biggest client was some yoga chick with 50,000 followers who sold $89 personalized workout plans to bored suburban moms. The plans were all the same template with different names slapped on them, but apparently that counted as personalization. Decent money though, and she seemed to actually like it. The first year was solid. We traveled, laughed a lot. Intimate stuff was great too, and she posted about us maybe twice a week. I'd roll in from job sites around 4 p.m. She'd wrap up her work from home social media stuff around 6, and we'd actually hang out like normal people. But around month 18, got weird. She started obsessing over likes and comments, spending hours trying to figure out why one post got 200 likes, while another only got 150. She'd retake the same selfie like 15 times, adjusting the lighting and angles like she was documenting the Great Depression. "Babe, it's just Instagram." I'd say just Instagram. "Axel, this is my career personal brand." For someone who managed other people's accounts, that should have been red flag number 2, but I'm apparently slow on the uptake. She started buying ring lights and backdrop setups, turning our bedroom into a makeshift photo studio. I'd come home to find her rearranging furniture for optimal natural lighting and practicing facial expressions in the mirror. The bathroom counter looked like a Sephora exploded. The engagement started out fine. She posted exactly one ring photo with the caption, "Said yes to my best friend." And I actually thought that was pretty cool. Wedding planning was mostly her thing. I just showed up to eat cake samples and not at flower arrangements. But then Valencia started stressing about the wedding content. She wanted a videographer, a social media coordinator, and kept talking about maximizing the authentic moments. "What if we don't get enough good footage?" she'd worry. "Then we'll just have to settle for actually enjoying our wedding," I'd say back, which apparently made me a digital caveman. Then 3 months before the wedding, everything went to Valencia, landed her biggest client yet, Bryce freaking Myers. Bryce Myers was everything I wasn't. Fitness model, 200,000 Instagram followers, the kind of douchebag who probably called himself an entrepreneur while hawking sketchy supplements that definitely weren't FDA approved. Had that fake spray tan and teeth so white they could guide ships through fog. He was launching some fitness app called Transform X and needed someone to manage his rapid expansion into lifestyle brand territory. Valencia was over the freaking moon. This was her big break. The client who'd make her a serious player in influencer marketing. "Axel, this could change everything. Bryce is projected to hit 500,000 followers by Christmas. If I help him get there, I can start charging premium rates." "That's awesome, babe. Just remember, we got a wedding to plan." She waved me off like I was some fly. The wedding practically plans itself at this point. Famous last words. Within a week, Bryce consumed her entire existence. She was putting in 12-hour days, constantly on calls, completely absorbed in his brand strategy. When I'd try to talk about wedding, she'd get pissed. "Can we talk about centerpieces later?" Bryce needs me to analyze his target demographics' engagement patterns. Zach noticed the change immediately. "Dude, your girl's acting strange. She used to actually talk to people at parties. Now she just stares at her phone like it's going to give her the meaning of life." Sienna was more direct. "That guy's going to be trouble. I can smell the boundary violations from here." Sienna had this annoying habit of being right about people. The first time I met Bryce was at some fitness expo in Manhattan that Valencia dragged me to. He was exactly what I expected, 6'2", and perfectly sculpted with that fake tan that required professional maintenance. When Valencia introduced us, he gave me this weird handshake while staring me down like we were about to fight over the last piece of chicken. His hands were softer than my girlfriend's. "So, you're Axel. Val talks about you all the time. Construction, right? That's cool, man. I could never do manual labor all day. Value. Jerk was already using nicknames. Actually, I run tower cranes. It's precision work. Plus, Union pays solid. Oh, for sure, bro. Different strokes. I'm more of an inspiration guy. You know, building something real. Inspiring people to transform their lives. Dude kept checking his reflection in every mirrored surface while he talked, adjusting his hair and flexing his jaw like he was constantly posing for invisible cameras. Bro couldn't hold a conversation without monitoring his angles. I wanted to point out that I literally built the freaking skyline he posed in front of for his thirst traps, but Valencia was giving me those don't you dare looks. Bryce kept checking his phone every 30 seconds, probably monitoring his engagement metrics. After he walked away, she immediately went into damage control mode. He's actually really smart and incredibly driven. He built his whole platform from scratch by posting shirtless pics. It's called content strategy. Not everyone can understand the complexity of personal branding. That night, she spent 3 hours editing photos from the expo. When I went to bed, she was still hunched over her laptop, color-correcting Bryce's abs like she was working on the Sistine Chapel. Over the next few weeks, Bryce became the third wheel in our relationship. Every conversation eventually circled back to his latest brilliant marketing idea or ambitious expansion plan. Bryce thinks I should start my own agency. Bryce says the future of fitness is community-based platforms. Bryce thinks this. Bryce says that I started fantasizing about punting Bryce's beliefs into the next freaking dimension. The late nights started 2 weeks after they began working together. I'd get home from the job site at 4, and Valencia would still be out at emergency strategy sessions and time-sensitive brand opportunities, not rolling in until 10 p.m., looking like she'd been hit by a truck. Why can't this wait until tomorrow? I'm up at 5 for work. Axel, you don't understand the influencer space. Timing is everything. If Bryce doesn't post his workout content within 4 hours of filming, the algorithm buries it. The algorithm, right? Like it was some mystical force. She started hitting Bryce's gym for research. This wasn't her usual Planet Fitness either. Bryce worked out at some bougie place in Tribeca that charged $300 a month. I need to understand the authentic experience. Axel. Bryce's audience can tell when content isn't genuine. 2 weeks before everything went nuclear, Valencia's wardrobe changed. Suddenly, she was wearing sports bras to the freaking grocery store and yoga pants that look painted on. New look? It's part of the job. Bryce's demographic responds better to fitness-oriented styling. You're not even in his content. Sometimes I am behind-the-scenes stuff. She was talking about buying groceries like it was a marketing campaign. Zach started calling her Valencia 2.0 and asking if she came with a factory reset button. Sienna stopped asking about wedding plans altogether and started making divorce lawyer jokes. When this thing blows up, Sienna said over coffee, don't let her take half your document everything. You're being dramatic. Am I? Because your fiancé is basically dating another dude for professional reasons, and you're acting like it's totally normal. I wasn't acting like it was normal. I was trying to be the supportive boyfriend who trusted his girlfriend's professional judgment, and part of me was trying to prove I wasn't insecure as she called me every time I called out BS. Classic mistake, fellas. The Thursday before my world imploded, Valencia announced she'd be working late with Bryce on some urgent campaign launch. How late are we talking? Probably midnight. Maybe later. This is make or break stuff, Axel. She kissed my cheek and bounced, taking an overnight bag just in case. At the time, I thought she was being practical. Turns out she was being transparent as hell. Friday night, I was at Zach's place in Sunnyside watching the Yankees get their rear ends handed to them and drinking. We were down 6-2 in the 7th when my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification around 9 p.m. Valencia tagged you in a story. I opened Instagram expecting some boring work post. Instead, I got a front row seat to my own public humiliation. There was Valencia, glowing, leaning into Bryce at some upscale restaurant I definitely couldn't afford. It looked like one of those places where they serve appetizers on slate boards and charge $28 for 3 scallops. His arm was wrapped around her, both of them grinning like they just won the lottery. The caption said upgraded, and she tagged me directly, making sure I'd see it right away. Zach looked over and went dead silent for about 10 seconds. Then, holy dude, please tell me this is some kind of social media experiment gone wrong. I screenshot that story because I knew I was going to need evidence for what came next. What are you going to do? My hands were shaking. Not gonna lie, seeing your fiancé wrapped up with another dude hits different than you'd expect. Part of me wanted to drive to that restaurant and cause a scene, but the rational part knew that would just make me look like the crazy ex. Plus, she'd probably live stream the whole thing. My first instinct was to call her immediately, probably scream until my voice gave out. But then something clicked in my brain. She'd just told me everything I already knew in the back of my mind, yet justified it. She'd found someone better, upgraded, and wanted to make damn sure everyone knew about it. So, instead of calling her, I started making my own moves. Zach, I need you to help me with something. Anything, man. This is freaking brutal. I'm gonna handle this the right way. Can you drive me to Home Depot? Home Depot? Why? I need moving boxes. A lot of them. While Zach went to grab boxes, I called my buddy Finn, who does family law. Finn had helped me when I bought my co-op and knew his inside and out. I sent him the screenshot and explained the situation. Dude, that's basically a public announcement that your relationship is over. If you handle this smart, you can probably minimize your losses on the wedding expenses. How smart we talking? Document everything. Send this image to every vendor. Most will classify this as abandonment by the other party, which totally changes cancellation terms. Plus, New York's pretty strict about fraud in wedding contracts. If one party publicly declares the relationship over, it's breach of contract. Next call, Valencia's dad, Victor. We'd always gotten along great. He was a no-nonsense guy who had zero patience for social media garbage. Victor, I need you to see something Valencia posted today. I texted him the screenshot. Long pause. Son, who the hell is this guy? Someone she works with. Based on the caption, our engagement's over. What do you mean? You're getting married in 3 months. Not anymore, Victor. Another pause. Let me call Valencia and figure out what the hell is going on. Don't bother. The post's pretty clear. That night, I didn't hear Jack from Valencia. She didn't come home, didn't text, nothing. Apparently, she was too busy celebrating her upgrade to remember she had a fiancé waiting at home. Saturday morning, I woke up to a text from Valencia. Stayed at Jade's last night. Bryce's campaign ran super late, and I was too exhausted to drive home. See you later today. Funny how she was still lying to my face. Zach showed up at 10 a.m. with coffee and a grim expression. How you holding up? Better than expected. I got a plan. Please tell me it involves making Bryce disappear into the Hudson River. Not yet, but we're canceling a wedding today. I spent Saturday destroying 2 years of wedding planning and it felt freaking amazing. Called the venue first. Riverside Manor. This is Natasha. Hi, Natasha. This is Axel Williams. I have a wedding booked for October 15th. Unfortunately, I need to discuss cancellation. My fiancé posted something on social media yesterday that changes our situation. I sent her the screenshot. Oh my goodness. Let me review this with management and call you back within the hour. Same conversation with every vendor, photographer, caterer, florist, band, even the sparkler company. Explain the situation, send the screenshot, ask about refund options. The florist was actually relieved. Apparently, Valencia had been calling them twice a week, changing her mind about centerpieces, like she was planning a state dinner. While I was torching our wedding plans, Valencia was apparently having her own meltdown. Zach got texts from mutual friends saying she was posting weird, cryptic stories about haters and people who don't understand success. She'd also started commenting on Bryce's posts with like partnership goals and building empires together. By Saturday evening, my phone was blowing up with texts from Valencia's family. Her mom, Marianne, Axel, what is this photo? What's happening? Call me right now. We need to talk about this immediately. This is unacceptable behavior, and I demand an explanation. Her sister, Chloe. Oh my God, Axel, you better not be spreading lies about my sister. I ignored all their asses. They could sort out their family drama without me, but Marianne wasn't done. She kept calling from different numbers, leaving increasingly unhinged voicemails. Axel, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but this stops now. You will not embarrass this family with your jealous rumors. Call me back or I'm driving over there. Meanwhile, Chloe had apparently appointed herself Valencia's social media defense attorney. She started posting on Facebook about how some men can't handle strong, successful women and how my amazing sister is building an empire while small minds try to tear her down. She was tagging mutual friends in posts about toxic masculinity and supporting women in business. Valencia was calling everyone we knew, demanding they pick sides. Sienna got a call around dinner time where Valencia screamed about how I was sabotaging her career and couldn't handle her success. She called me laughing her ass off. Dude, your ex-fiancé is completely unhinged. She called me a jealous witch because I wouldn't tell her where you were. What did you say? I told her you were probably busy dodging bullets. Sunday morning brought callbacks from most vendors. Natasha from the venue called first. Given the evidence you provided, we're classifying this as abandonment by the other party. We can refund 75% of your payments, which comes to $4,200. The photographer was even better. That Instagram post is really messed up. We're refunding your full deposit plus the $500 engagement shoot fee. My wife said if I didn't after seeing that, she'd divorce me too. The caterer refunded $3,100 out of $4,500. The florist gave back everything except a $200 consultation fee. Even the DJ was cool about it. Apparently, he'd had other couples break up over social media drama and knew the warning signs. All told, I recovered about $16,100 of the $23,000 we'd blown. Way better than expected and cheaper than divorce. But Valencia wasn't done with her public meltdown. She'd started a freaking Instagram live session Sunday afternoon, crying and ranting about how some people can't support women in business. The comment section was brutal. People calling her out for the upgraded post, asking where her fiancé went, and generally roasting her for being a train wreck. One comment that got a bunch of likes. Supporting women in business doesn't mean supporting cheaters. Zach's screen recorded the whole mess. Bro, she's completely lost it. She just spent 20 minutes explaining how posting about dating other men is normal business networking. Sunday evening, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I answered, Axel, we need to talk. It was Valencia, but her voice was different. No need. Your post covered everything pretty clearly. You have no freaking idea what you've done. Bryce is furious. My family won't stop calling. And now vendors are saying you canceled our wedding. Yeah, that tends to happen when you publicly humiliate yourself. That post was business, Axel. Business? But you're too stupid to understand marketing. I am not stupid to take your BS anymore. That hit a nerve. Oh my God, you're pathetic. You know that you couldn't handle me being successful, so you sabotaged everything like a freaking child. I sabotaged your success by reading the post you tagged me in. You sent that screenshot to my parents. What kind of psycho does that? The kind who gets publicly humiliated by his fiancé and wants some freaking answers. I don't owe you for explanations. We're done, Axel. Done. And I'm keeping the ring. Already had it appraised. It's coming out of your half of the security deposit. You can't freaking do that. Watch me. Also, thanks for leaving your iPad logged into your iCloud. Those text messages with Bryce about relationship marketing strategies are going to look great in court. Quick pause, fellas. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way. Thanks so much for your support. All right, back to the drama. Dead silence. She hadn't realized I'd seen Bryce coaching her on how to create authentic romantic tension for content and build audience investment in the storyline. Apparently, our relationship was just another campaign to them. You have no right to cancel vendors without my permission. This is illegal. Watch me. Screw you. I'm calling a lawyer. Good luck with that. She kept screaming about how I was ruining her life and destroying her reputation. Apparently, Bryce was threatening to drop her because the drama was affecting his brand metrics. Bryce says, "This makes us both look unprofessional." Maybe you should have thought about that before fake dating your client for content. It wasn't fake dating. Then what the hell was it? Dead silence. Then you're going to regret this, bro. You're going to regret. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. Looking forward to it. I hung up and blocked that number too. Here's where it gets interesting. Finn called me Wednesday with news that made my whole week. Axel, I've been thinking about your situation. That Instagram post might constitute intentional infliction of emotional distress, especially given the public nature and the wedding timeline. You think I got a case? Possibly. But more importantly, I think Bryce might have legal exposure. If he encouraged her to post relationship content for his brand benefit, knowing she was engaged, that's tortious interference with a contractual relationship. Meaning what exactly? Meaning you could potentially sue Bryce's ass for damages related to the wedding cancellation. I'd been so focused on Valencia, but Bryce was the puppet master behind this whole mess. Finn, let's freaking explore this. While I was building a legal case, Valencia was apparently spiraling harder than a kamikaze pilot. She'd created a whole new Instagram account called Authentic Val, where she posted daily rants about toxic men and people who don't support women's ambitions. The account had like 43 followers, but she was posting multiple times a day like she was running CNN. Zach showed me screenshots. One post, "When you're building empires and small minds can't handle your vision, leveling up by Felicia." Another, "Some people would rather tear down queens than build themselves up. Bryce and I are thriving while haters cancel weddings." She was also showing up to Bryce's gym unannounced, taking selfies and posting them with captions like "power couple," "energy," and "when your business partner becomes your best friend." Bryce looked uncomfortable as hell in every photo like he was being held hostage. But here's where Bryce screwed himself. He kept posting content with Valencia, stories at the gym, posts about their work relationship, even a few photos that looked suspiciously coupley for business partners. Zach did some digging and found Bryce's business registration, tax info, and discovered he'd been promoting the upgraded post as successful viral marketing on his professional channels. Dude, this jerk has been bragging to other influencers about how he got his social media manager to fake date him for engagement. There's a whole thread about it on some marketing forum. Screenshots of Bryce explaining his relationship marketing strategy to other influencers were pure freaking gold. He'd literally admitted to encouraging Valencia to post relationship content for brand benefit, knowing she was engaged to someone else. Meanwhile, Valencia had started commenting on all my friends' social media posts. She left a paragraph-long comment on Zach's gym selfie about how real friends don't enable toxic masculinity and some people can't handle successful women. Zach deleted it and blocked her, but she created another account and kept going like some kind of digital stalker. We filed suit against Bryce for $50,000 in damages, $23,000 in wedding deposits, $15,000 in emotional distress, $8,000 in lost wages from dealing with this mess, and $4,000 in legal fees. Turns out missing work days as a crane operator to handle legal is expensive. Union jobs don't mess around with attendance. I'd already burned 3 personal days and had to take 2 unpaid days. Bryce's lawyer tried to settle immediately for $15,000. We countered at $40,000. His lawyer came back with $25,000. Finn advised we push harder. This guy's shitting his pants. Finn said his Instagram's restricted. The FTC is breathing down his neck about his supplements, and we have documentation of everything. He wants this gone yesterday. Finn also discovered Bryce had been pulling this same stunt with other clients. We found 2 other women on fitness forums talking about how Bryce had encouraged them to post relationship content with him for brand synergy, both while they were in committed relationships. One girl's boyfriend had left her over it. The other nearly got divorced. We reached out to both of them, and suddenly Bryce was looking at a potential class action lawsuit. We rejected $25,000 and held firm at $40,000. But the real nuclear option came from Sienna, who worked in corporate communications for a media company in Manhattan. "Axel, I've been watching this Bryce jerk's content. He's been promoting some supplement that's not FDA approved and making medical claims about weight loss. So I reported him to the FTC for false advertising. Also sent screenshots to Instagram about his fake engagement schemes. Within 48 hours, Bryce's Instagram account got temporarily restricted pending review, and the FTC opened an investigation into his supplement marketing. His Transform X app launch postponed indefinitely, while lawyers scrambled to contain the damage. That's when Zach pulled his master stroke. Remember how Bryce was always posting at the gym, flexing and giving motivation to his followers? Zach worked construction, so he had access to orange safety vests, hard hats, and work boots. He showed up to Bryce's gym wearing full construction gear, found Bryce mid-workout selfie session, and loudly said, "Excuse me, are you Bryce Myers? I'm here about the building project." "What building project?" Bryce asked, confused, but still holding his phone up for the perfect angle. "The one where you're going to build some personality instead of just taking shirtless photos all day." The entire gym went dead silent. Then people started cracking up. Someone in the background yelled, "Boom! Roasted!" Zach walked out like nothing happened, but not before someone recorded the whole thing and posted it to TikTok. Bryce never posted another gym selfie after that. That's when Valencia completely lost her damn mind. She started calling Zach, Sienna, even my coworkers, screaming about how we were all conspiring against her success. She left a voicemail for my foreman, claiming I was mentally unstable and shouldn't be operating heavy machinery. The kicker, Chloe, Valencia's sister, doubled down on social media, posting a Facebook essay titled, "When Men Can't Handle Your Shine," with a whole paragraph about how certain people use legal intimidation when they're threatened by female success. She was sharing articles about toxic masculinity and tagging me in posts about supporting women entrepreneurs. Marianne, her mom, escalated to calling my job site directly, demanding to speak to my supervisor about my erratic behavior and harassment of a young professional woman. She also started leaving Yelp reviews for vendors who'd refunded our deposits, claiming they were unprofessional and allowed a disturbed man to cancel legitimate contracts. My foreman called me laughing his ass off. "Dude, your crazy ex thinks we give a about your personal drama." I told her if she calls again, we're filing harassment charges. Oh, and her mom called too. Real piece of work. Kept demanding I fire you for emotional instability. Sienna got a voicemail. "You jealous witch? You can't stand that I'm building something real while you're stuck in your boring marriage. Axel's going to realize what he lost. You will see. Real classy," Sienna said. I forwarded it to her parents. 6 weeks after the Instagram story heard around the world, Bryce settled for $35,000. His legal fees probably cost him another $20,000. His account was still restricted. The FTC fined him $12,000 for supplement advertising violations, and his Transform X app never launched. Word got around the fitness influencer community that he was toxic to work with, and clients started dropping him like a bad habit. The final nail in his coffin came when one of his former clients leaked screenshots of him bragging about his relationship manipulation tactics in a private WhatsApp group for fitness influencers. Turns out he'd been coaching multiple people on how to leverage romantic tension for engagement, calling it his secret sauce for viral content. The fitness community tore him apart. Valencia lost her biggest client and had to move back in with her parents when she couldn't make rent on the Astoria apartment. Word spread through the influencer community about what had happened, and apparently most potential clients weren't interested in hiring someone who torpedoed their personal life for engagement metrics. She'd also gotten herself banned from 3 different gyms for disrupting the environment. Apparently, she'd been showing up places Bryce worked out, taking unauthorized photos, and making scenes when staff asked her to leave. The Tribeca gym, where she used to do research, issued a formal trespassing warning. Victor, her dad, called me one final time. "Axel, I owe you a serious apology. I saw some text messages. You were right about everything. Don't worry, Victor. I also owe you an apology for Marianne and Chloe. I had no idea they were harassing you in your workplace until your foreman called me directly. What did you do?" I sat both of them down and explained exactly what Valencia had done. Marianne kept making excuses, saying boys will be boys, and Bryce probably manipulated her. Chloe insisted you were just jealous of Valencia's success. And so I showed them the text messages, Bryce telling Valencia to play up the romance angle and create some relationship drama for engagement. Then I asked Chloe how she'd feel if her husband was getting those kinds of messages from his female client. Chloe shut the hell up real quick. Marianne tried to say it was still just business. So, I asked her how she'd react if I posted photos with my arms around other women for my construction business networking. I was grinning. I bet that changed her tune. She went dead silent. Then, I told them both that if I heard about them harassing you, your friends, or your workplace again, they could find somewhere else to live. Chloe deleted all her Facebook posts that night. For what it's worth, I think you handled this perfectly. Victor turned out to be the only sane person in that whole family. He sent me a check covering my legal fees with a note. Sorry, my daughter turned out to be an idiot. Zach threw me a screw Bryce party 2 months later. Sienna made a cake shaped like an Instagram story with upgraded, crossed out, and dodged a bullet written underneath. I started dating again around Christmas. Matched with Delilah, a veterinarian who thought Instagram was fine for keeping up with family, and whose idea of content creation was sending me pictures of particularly cute dogs at work. She had 247 followers and posted maybe twice a month, usually her hiking boots or a coffee cup. Revolutionary concept. A woman who lived in the actual real world. I knew I'd found the right one. Delilah had her shit together and thought taking photos of your dinner was kinda weird, unless it's really exceptional food. The contrast was night and day. Delilah would rather spend Saturday morning hiking than staging photo shoots. When we went to restaurants, she actually talked to me instead of photographing her meal from 12 different angles. She had zero interest in optimizing our relationship for social media engagement. We were just 2 people who enjoyed each other's company without needing to document every moment for strangers on the internet. 6 months later, Delilah and I had just gotten back from dinner at this solid Italian place in Astoria when all hell broke loose outside my building. Through the window, we could see someone pacing on the sidewalk, gesturing wildly and talking to themselves. It was almost 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, and most normal people were inside watching TV or getting ready for work. Is that Delilah started? Yep, that's Valencia. We watched her for a few minutes. She looked like she'd been living in her car, hair a mess, wearing the same Nike tracksuit she'd probably had on for days. She kept checking her phone and looking up at my building, then typing frantically. Then she started walking toward the entrance, stumbling a little. Great. She was either wasted or having some kind of breakdown, maybe both. The buzzer went off about 30 seconds later, then again and again. She was hitting every apartment button like she was playing whack-a-mole. Axel, I know you're up there. We need to talk. More buzzing. Continuous now. My neighbor from 1A texted. Your crazy ex is waking up my baby. Handle this shit. Axel, open the freaking door. I'm not leaving until we talk. I looked at Delilah. You want to see some real entertainment? She was already reaching for her phone. Should I call the cops now or wait for it to get worse? Let's see how this plays out first. We went to the window. Valencia was now standing directly under my 3rd-floor apartment, shouting at the building like it owed her money. Axel, you ruined my freaking life. The least you can do is explain yourself. Mrs. Patel from 2B opened her window. She was about 70, had lived in the building for 30 years, and gave exactly zero shits about anyone's drama. She was also the building's unofficial security system. Nothing happened on the block without her knowing about it. Hey, crazy lady, some of us are trying to sleep. Valencia looked up, squinting at the windows. Mind your own business, old lady, Mrs. Patel laughed, this sharp cackling sound that carried across the street. Honey, when you're screaming outside my building at 9 p.m., it is my business. You look like you've been sleeping in a dumpster. I'm not homeless. I'm a business owner. Business owner? Mrs. Patel cackled again. What business? Making noise, because you're real good at that. Maybe try the circus. They need more clowns. Other windows started opening. People were coming out on fire escapes to watch the show. Mr. Alvarez from 3C had his phone out recording. The college kids in 1C were laughing and offering commentary like they were watching a UFC fight. That's when Valencia completely snapped. Screw all of you. Axel Williams is a piece of who can't handle successful women. More laughter from multiple windows now. Someone yelled down. Lady, successful women don't have public meltdowns. Delilah, call the cops now, I said, already dialing. I opened my window and leaned out. Valencia, you are embarrassing yourself. She looked up and saw me. Then she saw Delilah next to me, and her face completely changed. Who the hell is that? That's my girlfriend. Now, please leave before the police get here. Your girlfriend? She started laughing maniacally. That's your upgrade? She looks like a freaking librarian. Delilah leaned out next to me. I'm a veterinarian, actually, and you look like you need professional help. Oh, so now you're both experts on what I need. Screw you. Mrs. Patel was loving this. Karen, honey, you're the one having a breakdown on the sidewalk. She's just standing in her own window. Shut up, old lady. Make me dumpster girl. That did it. Valencia started screaming incoherently while trying to find something to throw at Mrs. Patel's window. She settled on her purse, which opened midair and scattered makeup, receipts, and what looked like bar wrappers everywhere. The contents hit the sidewalk like confetti made of desperation. You threw your purse at a building, I called down. That's the problem-solving skills that got you here in the first place. Screw you, Axel. I gave you the best 2 years of my life. Nah. You gave me a great story and a $35,000 lawsuit settlement. Thanks for that, by the way. I'm not done with you. Yeah, you are. Police are on their way. And Delilah's recording everything. Say hi. Delilah waved her phone. Hi, Valencia. Say something stupid for the camera. I'll sue you. I'll sue all of you. This is harassment. The cops showed up just as Valencia was trying to climb the fire escape. 2 officers looking like they dealt with this every night and had zero patience for drama. Ma'am, you need to come down from there. I'm not leaving until he talks to me. Ma'am, that's trespassing. It's not trespassing. I used to live here. Do you live here now? No, but then it's trespassing. Also, climbing fire escapes is illegal unless it's an emergency. This is a freaking emergency. What's the emergency, ma'am? He ruined my life. The cops looked at each other. They got her down and cuffed while she screamed about her rights and how everyone was conspiring against successful women. One of the officers asked if anyone wanted to press charges for disturbing the peace and property damage. Hell yes, said Mrs. Patel from her window. I got work tomorrow. The whole building erupted in applause as they put Valencia in the squad car. The crowd started dispersing, but missed her. Alvarez yelled down, Axel, you dodged a freaking bullet, man. Wear a helmet next time, dude. I hope there's no next time. Delilah was crying, laughing. That was the most entertaining Tuesday night I've had in years. Welcome to dating me. Drama finds a way. As for me, Delilah said yes when I proposed last weekend. No social media announcement planned. Some moments are too good to share with the freak.